We control our schedule. Our schedule doesn't control us. We control our time. Our time doesn't control us. Hi guys, this is Laura Maluhi and welcome back to another episode of In Harmony, giving you light and encouragement to pursue the incredible life that God has for you. Today is a good one because we're talking about all things rest. Yes, that is correct. Rest, restoration, relaxation, catching those Z's, whatever you prefer. And this subject is rarely talked about, at least in my life, and I'm sure in your guys's. Everything around us is about hustle culture and rise and grinding. So I hope that this episode gives you almost medicine for your soul to be reminded of how important you and your body are and the need to rest. And if you're anything like me, you need it because you are tired all the time, which I am. But before I start, I wanted to just tell you guys, I'm usually not one for fluff and fluffy stuff, but the feedback that I'm going to be honest with you guys, when I started the idea of doing this, and I first pressed record, I was like, nobody's going to watch this. And I think the sad thing is too, is I kind of didn't want anybody to. I didn't really want my friends to see it, my family to see it. And I just assumed that no one would watch it, but hopefully that it would help somebody out there. But just the feedback and the response that I've gotten from some of you guys, like taking time out of your day to message me, to watch it, to come up to me and tell me how it helped you and the impact that it had on you. Like, if I get nothing else, that's all that I needed. And I just want to say thank you. My only intention with this show is to just help people, to provide light in a world of discouragement, in a world of fear, and just pour value into your life. So thank you for everybody who said anything in your kind words. I promise you I will never forget it. All right, so enough with the sappy stuff. Let's get right into it. So today, to start our conversation, we're talking fast food. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the fries. Well, specifically, we're talking about two types of fast food. Original, old-fashioned chicken sandwich with the waffle fries. Yes, my friend, we are talking, and a lemonade, because I have fire lemonade. We are talking Chick-fil-A. And we're also talking another very popular, if not the most popular, fast food restaurant in the world, which is McDonald's. Why does anybody care about fast food? And if you're hungry, you're like, girl, why are you talking about this? Because now I want some fast food. So we can learn a very interesting lesson from these two restaurants. Seemingly different, but they have some stark differences where the true value lies. So to start off, compared to McDonald's, Chick-fil-A only has about 2,700 locations compared to McDonald's, which has about 13,400 locations just in the US. So one would imagine, because we all know the reality that Chick-fil-A, like in Kanye West's song, is closed on Sundays. Everybody knows when I used to eat meat, I used to show up to Chick-fil-A's on Sundays and then get so upset because I'm like, dang it, I forgot they're closed. And then you just see a bunch of other people who came by and they're like, dang, we forgot. So even though it's frustrating, I'm sure for a lot of us, Chick-fil-A is sadly only open for 6 days a week and they are closed on Sundays. But maybe this is a good thing, not just for us, but for the store itself. So one would imagine that McDonald's, which a ton of McDonald's locations are actually open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they have over 13,000 stores just in the US. One would imagine, all right, McDonald's makes some serious money here, people. I'm trying to own a McDonald's, and they do. McDonald's makes about 2.6 million on average. And your typical Chick-fil-A makes about $4.5 million in sales a year. Even though they're closed on Sundays, wouldn't they make more money than McDonald's if they were open 7 days a week? According to the facts, and the studies and the research, that is not the case. So what can we learn about this, and what does it have anything to do with rest? Sometimes we think that if we have more of something, we're going to make more of something. If I work more hours, if I put in more shifts at work, if I take on more projects, I'm going to make more money. But just like Chick-fil-A, if you prioritize rest in your life, you may be able to not just make as much money, but more money than if you were to operate at a full capacity. And if you're anything like me, you've always struggled with this. I seriously struggle with this. In my mind, my identity is built completely, well, in the past, is built completely on my works. If I don't work 10-hour days and then come home and work some more and work 6 to 7 days a week, my self-confidence can be low because I don't think that I'm worthy, because I don't feel like I exhausted every single drop of gas in my tank. But if you look at it from a spiritual perspective, if you always are in this constant state of pushing and grinding and overworking yourself, you're basically telling God that you don't trust him enough to bring increase into your life. And on top of that, if you're grinding so much every single day, hustle and grind 7 days a week, okay, because you're trying to beat the next guy or you're trying to beat your competitor, whatever it may be, you might be making more money until your body gives out the same way that a car eventually does. And you're put in the hospital. I've seen this in my own family. You have a heart attack, you have a stroke, you have high blood pressure, you have diabetes. Your body is giving you all of these signs that you're at full capacity and that you are not designed to take on this much load. And now, guess what? You have hospital bills. You have to work even harder to pay all of these bills. When in reality, if you had shown yourself and your body love and grace, you would never be in that hospital room. You would never need that prescription. You would never have exhausted your full capacity because you have prioritized rest in your life. If you're constantly in a state of stress, you're not going to be able to function at your best capacity, because at least for me, when I'm stressed out and I go to meet my clients, I have this frenzied and frantic energy that I give to them. And that's not cool. You don't want to give that negative energy to the people you love, to your family members, to your spouse, to your boyfriend, to your kids. You want to give them the best version of yourself, but you can't because you're always in this state of stress. So not just is it bad for you and your relationships, but when we live every single day of our life grinding and hustling because we think that we have to prove something or pay the bills, because I know that's what everyone's thinking. Okay, it's easy to say that, but if we live our lives always grinding, how would you feel if you were God and that was your child? Let's set the scene. You're a mother or father, okay? And you have a young 2-year-old, 2 or 3-year-old. And every day you're feeding them, every day you're clothing them, every day you're giving them a bath, you're playing with them, whatever it is, you're serving this kid's basic needs and then some, okay? You're blessing them, you're giving them toys, you're taking them to Disney. How would you feel if every single day your little child woke up in a state of panic? Your little 2-year-old, while everybody else is out there, all the other little kids are out there in the playgrounds or playing soccer or on the street playing. Your little kid was so stressed out because he said, "Mom, do you think we're going to eat today? What if we don't eat today? What if the mortgage doesn't get paid?" And you're like, "Okay, no, we'll be good." But every single day, your child comes to you with this frantic energy of worry and stress. Wouldn't you at one point start to get offended? You would be like, "Why do you keep saying that? When have I not provided for you? When have I not clothed you? When have I not put food on your table? When have I not taken care of you?" You having this anxiety as a child you're basically telling me that I'm not a good provider. How would that make you feel? That's the same way that God feels with us. When we wake up every single day and we're stressed and we're overwhelmed and we're booking our appointments back to back, we deteriorate our physical health, we deteriorate our mental health because we feel like we have to give and give and give. It's basically telling God, I have to do this because I don't trust you to provide for me. So I'm going to actually hurt myself to give myself security that I'll be okay. We all know the story of in Genesis when God created the beautiful earth. All right. We feel good about a productive week, but God, when he made the earth, he said, boom, we got animals, boom, we got sea creatures, boom, we got trees, boom, we got plants. He did all of this stuff, okay? And then on the sixth day, he's like, I'm going to create man. So that's when we come along, right? So he creates us, blah. Here's man. And there's this man who's like, oh, I got a mind, I got a heart, I got a body, I have all of these things, and I'm ready to learn. Like, I'm ready to use these hands that you've given me. I'm ready to use these muscles. What do you need me to do? The first thing that God teaches us on the seventh day is rest. After all of the miraculous, incredible things and works that God did, he could have said, all right, Adam, I'm going to teach you. We got to feed these animals. We got to plant these gardens, put on your boots and let's get to work. No. The first lesson that God taught humanity was how to rest. If God himself rested, the being that created you, the being that created me, the being that created Niagara Falls and Mount Everest and Aurora Borealis, those cool lights in Alaska, all those incredible sights in the world, he rested. And we don't think that we need to rest. Maybe God, instead of teaching Adam anything else, he wanted to teach him the importance of rest because he knew that in life, how much of a discipline and a struggle that this seemingly simple practice would be. At least for myself, the thought of sitting down and not moving for me is like bad. Like my actual physical body starts to like get not jittery, but like very, very stressed out. All of these things that we put in our bodies, we think, all right, I wake up, I have to drink my coffee, my triple shot of espresso and my monsters, my bangs, let's get it. Our bodies weren't designed to operate like that. It's kind of like if you have a Ferrari, this beautiful, incredible, luxury, foreign sports vehicle that's just incredible. It can go so fast. It can do so many incredible, amazing things. If we were to take this vehicle and we have a Ferrari and our friends are like, let's go off-roading, okay? And we said, yeah, I can go off-roading in my Ferrari. Look how incredible it is. I can do anything in this thing. And we take our Ferrari four-wheelings in the mountainous terrain. What would happen to that vehicle? You would have messed up suspensions. You would have damaged shocks. You would have damaged body parts. You would have undercarriage or frame damage because that vehicle was not designed to be used in that capacity. That's the same thing that happens to our bodies. One of my friends yesterday, we had a little circle from my church, and he said something great. He said, it's not a day off unless you enjoy it. So rest for you is probably going to look different than rest for me, rest for your friends, rest for your brother, rest for your sister, rest for your boo thing. We're all going to have different ideas of rest. If you love playing music and playing the guitar, do that on your sabbatical, on your seventh day. Take that type of rest. If you love going for walks, if you love going on hikes, if you love chilling with an oat milk latte, while you have a good conversation with a friend, that should be your idea of rest. If you love playing soccer, if you love playing basketball, if you love going to the gym, if you love reading, if you love singing and running around and dancing in your room like a crazy person, if that's what you love to do, that is your day of rest. Our day of rest cannot, because it so easily can, The enemy's going to try to throw things like, ooh, look at this sale going on. It's one day only. This is the last day. They just extended it. This is the last day for the sale. Ooh. But those gutters need to be cleaned. Yeah. When was the last time that you cleaned your yard? When was the last time did you notice how disorganized your pantry is? All of those things we can do on the other 6 days of the week. God just asks for one day out of the week to make time for yourself and for him. Just speaking, just honoring him, just glorifying him, being grateful to him, living in your happiness. That's all that he wants from you on that 7th day. And that's what rest really looks like. One of the last things that I want to leave you with is I recently read in my book club. I know it's a book club and it's a fire book club with my friends, is The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. Wow, this book is incredible. It's super easy to read because I know a lot of people say that they have a short attention span, which I think all of us probably do to a certain point. He breaks it up. It's hard to see. He breaks up the paragraphs so that it's easier for your brain to process. Because I don't know about you, but when it's like a thick paragraph, I'm like, and I could tend to like dwindle off. But in this one, it's really broke up. So probably nobody cares. But if you're looking for a very good book recommendation, I highly recommend this one. And he said something that was crazy cool in one of the pages. He talks about the importance of the sabbatical and why God made that necessary. And it's crazy how that 6-to-1 ratio, it's like a math equation that we can see in other parts of humanity. So let me read this short paragraph. The last time a society tried to abandon the 7-day week was during the Revolution in France. They switched to a 10-day work week to up productivity. The rise of the proletariat and disaster. The economy crashed. The suicide rate skyrocketed, and productivity, it went down. It's been proven by study after study, there is zero correlation between hurry and productivity. In fact, once you work a certain number of hours in a week, your productivity plummets. Do you want to know what that number is? 50 hours. Ironic. That's about a 6-day work week. One study found that there was zero difference in productivity between workers who logged 70 hours and those who logged 55. Could God be speaking to us even through our bodies? Maybe there is a mathematical limit on what we are able to do, what our bodies and our minds and our spirits are able to produce. In the last part of this book, a last little nugget that he dropped, that's also very, very insightful. Recently, I read a study done by a doctor who cited the happiest people on earth. Near the top of the list was a group of Christians called Seventh-day Adventists, who are literally religious about the Sabbath. The doctor noted that they lived 10 years longer than the average American. I did the math. If I Sabbath every 7 days, it adds up to, wait for it, 10 years over a lifetime. Almost exactly. So when I say the Sabbath is life-giving, that's not empty rhetoric. If this study is to be believed, every day you Sabbath, you're statistically and scientifically likely to get back an elongated life. So okay, you work 7 days a week, but it takes off 10 years from your life. How many more memories can you create with your children in that time? How many more lives can you impact in that time? How much more money and financial resources can you give to other people in need during that time? How much closer can you draw to God in that time? 10 years of your life. That's beautiful. He didn't have to give us rest, but he chose to do that because he blessed the 7th day. He didn't bless the day that he made the fishies. He didn't bless the day that he made the beautiful fig trees. He didn't even bless the day that he made us. He was like, that's good. He blessed the day of rest. What can that tell you and me? I'm going to share a struggle that I recently had. I was in church the other day at 9 a.m. on a Sunday. And because I'm in real estate and I don't have very structured hours, I can easily work 24 hours a day. Because yes, I've also gotten messages and calls at 12 o'clock at night, something coming up, you know? So I'm in church and I get a call and at 9 a.m. on a Sunday, and this agent starts blowing on my phone. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to call her and, oh, she didn't answer because it's a Sunday. No, it was like, I'm going to text her. I'm going to leave her a voicemail. I'm going to come for her children. Even though I don't have children, I could sense that he would have came for them because she needs to answer me. And I was upset because I was like, bro, it's 9 a.m. on a Sunday, bro. I'm praising the Lord. Like, how you going to like blow up my phone like that? But then I took a step back and I was like, you know what? That's my fault. When people feel that they have a right to message me about work at 9 p.m., at 10 p.m., at 9 a.m. on a Sunday, that's because I've trained them that they can do that to me. If I send Lauren this message, she's going to answer. If I call Lauren, she's going to answer. That's my fault. I say that because we control our schedule. Our schedule doesn't control us. We control our time. Our time doesn't control us. God delivered his people from slavery in Egypt. And he said, I've set you free so that you no longer have to be slaves. Personally, when I receive calls at 10 p.m., at 8 p.m., and I answer and I pick it up, that's because I'm a slave to my work. That's because I'm a slave to the idea of success, that I need to make money in order to mean something, in order to be productive with my time. You can be a slave to your job. You can be a slave to your work. You can be a slave to money. God delivered us from that. You may think you have freedom. I may think I have freedom, but we can easily become slaves to that thing that we idolize in our life. In conclusion, if you were McDonald's, wouldn't you be a little pissed? I would. I'd be like, what the? This guy is only open 6 days a week, and we're out here hustling and grinding every single day, paying these employees, paying these utility bills, and all this stuff. And we're out here with almost 14,000 units in the US, and this dude only has 2,700, and he's making almost twice what we're making per unit. I would be really upset if I was, what's his name, Ronald McDonald. I would feel some type of way. And I'm sure you would too. What if rest, what if taking time for ourselves can be our secret weapon? When you take time intentionally every week to just love on yourself, do the things you love, play music, dance in your room like you're crazy, go to your garden, read, spend time with your friends, go for a hike, just pray, read your Bible, love God. What do you think the impact that can have on your life? How much more of you can you give to your loved ones, to your kids, to your spouse, to your friends, to your family? How much more clarity will you have in your life? How much kinder will you treat other people? How much more will you notice when you're meeting with a client the things that are really important to them because you have a sound mind? What if, just like Chick-fil-A, rest can be our secret weapon? It's not an excuse to be lazy. It's not an excuse to feel unproductive. It's an intentional practice that propels us to success, and that is our secret weapon. Lastly, I'm going to leave you with a piece of scripture. This is Matthew 11, verse 28. Come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, because I am lowly and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. A lot of us have probably heard that a lot of times, or maybe this is the first time you've heard it, and you're like, what the heck? What does that mean? A yoke is something that you put. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read that to you because I really don't want to mess that up. A yoke is a wooden cross piece that is fastened over the necks of two animals and attached to the plow or cart that they are to pull. So it's a piece of wood that is put over to animals to push a cart or some sort of load. Okay. But even though you may have heard that scripture a number of times, there's one detail on there that we might have overlooked. God doesn't say, I put my yoke on you. Here is my yoke, which he can. He can force his yoke upon us. He can shove it down our throats, but no. He says, take my yoke. If you have a free sample at an ice cream shop and you're holding your samples, you don't get your sample and shove it down somebody's throat. You reach out and what do you say? You're like, hi, take a sample. Would you like a sample? That's what God does to us and our burden. We have the choice to take that sample. It's not something that he's going to force on us. It's not something that he's going to shove down our throats. It's a choice that we have to make every single week to take his yoke. He has it out. He reaches out and he has it there for us. But he's not going to force us. He's going to hold it there until we decide to take it. So take rest and take care of your body because you control your time. Your time doesn't control you. Thank you for watching.